Hey everybody, this is Luka from Georgia, and you're listening to the episode 3 of the VolunTales podcast. The show that is for motivated, purposeful, and hardworking people who decided to volunteer in the future. And not only just for them. This podcast is for anyone who wants to live the life of a volunteer for a few minutes and see what it's all about. Finally, for those people who love helping each other. Today, we will talk about the challenges and negative aspects that accompany this path and are part of the life of every volunteer. Today, a volunteer from the kindergarten will be with me, who, in my opinion, has conducted the most interesting activities and is not afraid of any problems. She still stands and proudly follows the path of volunteering. She is Diana from Italy, 18 years old. Also, we have Andrea, 27 from Italy, and Panni, 32 from Hungary, who are former volunteers who have walked this path before us and know everything about it. They know the results and know the ways in which the life of a volunteer becomes more diverse. So please introduce yourselves to our listeners.
Hello, my name is Panni, and as Luka said, I'm from Hungary. I arrived in Szczecin over 6 years ago as a short-term volunteer for 2 months. But as you can hear, I am here for a much longer time than I expected before, because it was supposed to be only 2 months. And I am still in Szczecin, and I work here right now.
Hello, my name is Andrea and I'm 27. I come from Italy, and in 2016 I came to Szczecin to be part of the one that before was called European Voluntary Service, now European Solidarity Corps. And I like Poland so much that I decided to stay here and work here.
Okay, I am Diana, 19 years old from Italy. I am now in my 5th month of volunteering, and I'm going to stay here still for a few months. I am kind of in the middle of my volunteering experience, so I can give my present opinion about what's going on in my volunteering life.
So, our episode for today is challenges and negative aspects of volunteering, and finally, is volunteering that dreamy? So, I have my opinion about that. And yes, naturally, it's natural that getting into a foreign environment, connect with strangers, connection with people with whom perhaps only the desire to help others connects you. Yeah, it's difficult not to face difficult challenges, such as those related to relationship with them, and also the war with yourself about who you are in reality and what you want in the future. Like even smaller conflict makes you miss the place you are from and you want to return. You feel longing, anger, love, hate, boredom, interest, and everything because you are porting from one reality to another. It's like just my opinion, you know. I think you will probably agree with me that you don't even remember getting closer to your loved ones. It all happened so long ago. So the family in which we grow up, the place where we felt comfortable until now, the persons got rid of all of this and was like left alone in front of the new ones who has many names like volunteering, living alone. It also can be called a new life, finding a future profession, new friends, and discovering a new culture. Or maybe this is an illusion and we are just in the void. Who knows? I don't know. But in my opinion, also, there is not so, because I think that in any void there is a ray that turns nothing into everything. Everything happens in the void and gives you hope that something can be born and problems can be overcome if you see it. Like personally, I have already faced many problems as volunteer, and like a conflicts, to get to the new life with new rules. It was very hard, and these challenges eventually bring me a negative results. You lose the desire to do work you came from, you lose motivation, and boom, you're thinking of returning to your comfort zone or providing that you can do it. That's, yeah, that this will definitely work for you, and congratulations, guys. You have declared war on yourself. But don't worry, no one will lose his battle because we stand on the right and bright side. Our weapon is the strongest. Our weapon is the main idea of voluntary to give each other a helping hand. If we're, and like especially that I am politis voluntariusham, like if any of you will be the politis volunteer, you will have a family by your side in the form of them who will help you in every possible way, and you will win together. So I want to first know your experience, Andrea. What was your experience as a volunteer?
I will start saying that I was working in middle school, and I was working with teenagers, and that was maybe one of my first challenge, because to work with people who are so young can be difficult. It can be difficult to connect with them, to find something in common, to find a common language. So I think that was my first challenge as a volunteer, without mentioning, of course, the most obvious one, which was leaving my family and leaving my country. Leaving my family especially was quite hard. Coming from Italy, coming from the south especially, we give a big importance, big value to the family, yeah. So when I told my parents that I wanted to leave, my mom actually started crying. She was asking me like, what did I do wrong? Why are you leaving? Did I do something wrong? I had to explain to her that no, it was just because I wanted to have my own experiences, become independent, and so on. So coming here was not so easy, and also working here was not so easy. But I think that after all, it gave me a lot. When I think about it 7 years later, I can tell that these experiences helped me a lot to grow as a individual, and also to learn more about Polish people since I kept living here.
Yeah, natural. And Pani, is this similar story of you, or just like a different one, and you got different stories?
I can connect to Andrea in different things, but also I have my own other kind of experiences. So yes, the family is a topic, because when I applied to this volunteering project, I thought it will not happen because I didn't get an answer for at least 1 month, so I almost forgot about it. And when the telephone rang, I was like, oh yes, I applied to this project, but I thought they forgot about me already. And then it was the end of my university. And when I graduated, actually 1 week later, I was here. And I think for my parents, it was really a shock, because I used to live in a dormitory in Hungary, far away from them. And they thought that after the university we will be again together, live together again. I moved back home. But it didn't happen, and of course they had to understand it and accept it. But we all thought that it will be only 2 months. And as I stayed here longer and longer, as harder was for my parents to accept it. And I can say that I really developed a lot. In the beginning, I was really shy. I had no idea how to do a workshop, what people expect from me, what value I can bring to this team, because I always thought that I don't have special skills. special knowledge to share. And I always felt a bit behind the others. And in the end of the volunteering project, like I stayed 1 year at the end, I learned my values, I guess, more than in the beginning, but it was not easy. And many times I had hard time to understand who I was and what talents I have. And sometimes, of course, I cried or I felt so bad. Then I just felt that everyone else was more skilled than me. But at some point, it changed, and I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, I catch two things from your like little speech, because one is about the family and university, and one is when we work with elders. Like also, like it's kind of similar in my family when I stop studying, but stop for like some limits. Like when I will return to Georgia, I'll like continue studying. But my mother never get why I stop, why I go to Stargard with kids, and like she never gets it. But I always think that like to try new things if you are interested in, why not just? And also about when you work with elders, sometimes it's like hard. No, sometimes elders, teenagers, they know English, but when you work with children, they like never get it. Like, and like you have to use like your hands, your like food, everything, like everything you have to use to communicate with them.
Exactly.
Yep. Also, we have like active volunteer here, Diana, and I always get some kind of examples from her. So I also want to hear from you, Diana, like here for 5 months here already, and what's your like a 5 months experience?
Okay, so I think the worst thing with my experience was not really coping with the family or the missing of the family, but coping with the affective needs of the children. I am not really a child person, like I don't really like children. I like to teach, and that's why I'm here. I wanted to teach children things that I found interesting, useful when they're still young enough to really understand them, to really put them inside of their growing experience. But I think the worst thing for now was having to cope with kids that ask you affection, that come to you for a hug, they come to you for playing, for drawing. And I really I have some problems with giving affections to kids, so I had to find my way to relate to them, to make them understand that I care about them, that I got kind of attached to some of those kids, but I have to make them understand it in a different way, to make them understand that the love language is not the same for everybody, and for a lot of them it is about hugging, drawing to you, and for me it's about helping them to understand better, to grow better, and really care about them understanding what I'm trying to teach, and not just teaching because that's the part of my project. So when I applied for this project, I thought I would just have gone to the kindergarten and teach children what they wanted and learn a language, make them understand how to cope with foreign people. But then I had to face a completely different part of children that I really didn't think about.
You get this, also the challenges and also the problems. But when I like signed that I was coming here, like at first I searched like Szczecin, Poland. What is going to Polish people? Like I've been here in Poland like in Gdańsk like at 2016 and 2015 maybe. I don't remember like if it's correct or not, but for a few times. But then I searched that Polish people are not happy. Like it was in Google, like, and the weather in Szczecin is like awful, really like awful. It's always rain, it's always windy. At the 3 a.m., it's like not 3 a.m., it's 3 p.m., it's already dark. You have to go to sleep at 3 p.m. and like you don't like have time to what to do after the kindergarten or after the office or after some workshop or something like that. And for me, like, these kind of problems was also a very big problem for me because it also gave me some stress, some bad feeling. I don't know what to do because of the weather, because of the sun, because of the people outside. Someone is like getting like a angry face, like someone don't get your smile. And was it also the same like 7 years ago in Poland, in Szczecin?
For me, it was, yeah, it was similar. When I arrived, I didn't notice it immediately because I connected immediately with my flatmates, and they were from I don't know, Spain, Albania, so some countries which were they were closer to me. But later on in winter, I started meeting also local people, and I can relate to what you were saying. In Italy, we kiss each other on the cheeks, for example, yeah. And here people will not do it, for example, or people they don't smile that much. I mean, if you smile to them, maybe they will smile back, but when you walk on the street, you will not see happy faces all the time, yeah. So it was a very stupid thing. Maybe it was a very small thing, but after a year, like day by day, it affects you. I think it affects your mood. Yeah. So yeah, I noticed this. I don't know, Pony, if you notice something else.
For me, it's a bit different because I'm not from sunny Italy. Because between Hungary and Poland, I don't see a huge differences. Of course, there are a few, but not as much. So for me, there was no culture shock here. The only thing was the language that we struggled with all the time. And still I am struggling. I just can't learn this tricky Polish. But anyway, like people in Hungary, they also don't smile a lot. So for me it wasn't a shock, but I know that for other volunteers as well. But for me it was like at home. Unfortunately, Hungarians and Poles should smile more, I guess.
For me, it's a very it's better here, but yeah, I also don't come from the south. I come from the north, and in my city is very similar. Staying here, in the just weather point of view, it's like staying in my city 10 years ago. So it has this kind of nostalgic feeling that makes me feel very good when there is snow and when there is everything cold and everything. But also in the point of view of people, I'm not really a touchy person. I don't like to kiss people on the cheeks. I don't like to shake hands. So it was good for me to come here. But still, yeah, I can notice this thing about smiling in the street sometimes, because just when I go to work, I just see people that seem so depressed. Yeah, I miss a little bit of happiness around.
Right now, I really want this advice. It's like a motivation, little motivation for us that will last for 5 months in Szczecin in winter.
Oh, that's such a difficult question. I think the best would be not to have so many expectations, honestly. But I believe that depends very much on the age you have at that point. When I came here, I was very young, I was 18, and I didn't have many expectations. I just wanted to travel and meet new people, so I didn't really check many things. But if I would do it again today, for sure I would be checking a lot of things, and I would not be that open as I was 7 years ago.
Why?
Because I think that after this experience, I know what I don't want to do anymore. For example, I wouldn't like to live with 6 people in the same flat. I would set more boundaries maybe, yeah. And at that time I didn't care. So for me, it was better. It helped me to understand what I want, what are my limits.
So my expectations with this project was just like to spend my free time after university, before the job, in a different way, to do something special before I go to the labor market after graduation. But when I arrived here, I was a bit disappointed because honestly, I didn't know a lot about Szczecin, but I thought it will be something nice, and I really didn't like the city when I arrived here. When our older volunteers from the previous project made a city game for us to show the city to us, I was like, but where is the main square? In my opinion, Szczecin is a really exciting city. If you get to know it more and deeper, it's a city that you can really, really like. At least it happened to me.
You know, I think I should have checked better what project, because at the time I applied, I just wanted to escape my hometown, to escape my life, to go abroad, to get rid of everything for 1 year. And so I was applying for every project that was in a northern country. I was just so sick of Italy that I applied for a project that was in the North Pole. They never answered to me, luckily. I tried so many projects, nobody took me. I did some like online calls and they didn't even answer to me. So I said, yeah, that's the last one, then I'm just going to find a job. And Kuba answered to me and I was so happy. The problem is that I had applied for every single project that had some availability and I really didn't like children. So I arrived here and I was like, what did I do? So I think the most important thing is just to really not rush. I didn't even know it was once in a life experience when I applied to it. I thought I could go on doing that like until I was 30. And so I thought, yeah, just let's find one, let's go. And so I think the biggest advice should be to think about it twice, to check the project, to see if you're really ready before going.
One of the biggest advice for the future volunteers from my side will be that don't be afraid of problems. This kind of problems must be, because it's like life. There's different people, there's different in our situation kindergartens. It's not the same situation in the kindergartens, but as my opinion, it will be problem. But all of the things is on the collaboration, on the talking, and on the communication. So don't be afraid of it. The one thing like in this like a topic of the episode of 3, I want to know that when I arrived here, in that moment, I was expecting that people here is living the same life in Georgia. And I have the questions like, who am I, what I'm doing here? And like one trainer told me that when you will arrive in Georgia, you have same questions, what I'm doing here and why I'm here. So cultural shock gave me really hard because of the expectations reality, also for the people or for the weather, like everything for me. Also the food was you're living here for like years, you're staying here, and if you have still the cultural shock, it was the first impression about the cultural shock, like what like hit you very hard, and when you then discovered that it was cultural shock. No idea.
Honestly, the thing is that Poland and Hungary are so similar, so
Okay.
didn't really have anything. And if we speak about expectations, I came here that during my volunteering project I will learn Polish very well. I return back to Hungary, I will get a job with Polish and I will earn so good money because I will speak a rare language, because in Hungary it's of course special to speak Polish. The reality is 6 years passed and my Polish level is still somewhere between A1 and A2.
You also am here for 5 months and I know few words, but I think Italian and Polish is not similar as Hungarian and Polish. So what was the shock for you? Like what hit you very hard?
I had many actually. So the weather was the first. Actually, on the same day I arrived, I've seen 3 different types of weather. Like it was cloudy, it was raining, and it was August. It was August. So like I was shocked. And I remember that one of the first things that my coordinator told me is that the weather here in Szczecin is unpredictable, and it's so true.
It is, and it kills me as well.
Like there's no point in checking the weather predictions on Google or whatever. Like it's not gonna be like that. But yeah, the weather was the first thing, and the food as well. I remember that on my first day here in Polite's office, Polite's ordered pizza for us to say thanks to us. And as an Italian, I was shocked to see that pizza. I think there were like 3,000 ingredients on that pizza. And they even asked me if I wanted ketchup on it. And I was like, oh my god, no, I don't want to live here.
Yeah.
It was too much. Also, yeah, I was working with teenagers, as I was mentioning before. And I remember once my coordinator in school, he offered me pasta with strawberries. And I said very politely.
I tried.
I'm cooking
I
it at
tried
home.
in Stargard.
I am buying strawberries to cook that at home. I like it.
Yeah, I will write to the Italian embassy and ask them to revoke your Italian ID. Yeah, but yeah, he asked me, I said no, and he was like, but come on, it's with strawberries. And I was like, that's why I don't want it, that's the reason. Yeah, so that was a shock. And, I love coffee as well. And I think that here, okay, you can find nice coffee maybe in coffee places, but it bothers me so much that coffee places are opening so late in the morning, like at 9 or 10, and they close so early, like at 6. What if I want to go to drink a coffee after work? I know already that my Polish friends, they will say that no, you don't drink coffee so late in the evening, but I want it. I want coffee in the evening. What should I do?
So late in the evening, 2 p.m.
Yeah, I can sleep, there's no problem. Yeah, so...
And you don't drink coffee after the sun goes down.
Yeah, but
so after 4 p.m. no coffee.
Yeah, even at 2 p.m. Like, you never drink, actually,
You
you never
don't
drink
drink
coffee
coffee,
here.
yeah,
There's never sun.
Yeah, you wake up, you go to work, then you come back home and you sleep until
Yeah.
you go to work again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so these things were a big shock, but I will mention something positive as well, because where I come from, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe it's in the north of Italy as well, like drivers, cars, they do not respect the roads as they should, not always, at least, most of the time. So I was very shocked here that cars would stop on the zebra crossing. It sounds so obvious and so stupid, but for me, zebra crossings are just decoration in Italy. They're not there for a purpose.
I think that's the only thing that really unites North and Southern Italy so much.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good, I guess.
Yeah, I'm here for 5 months, and yesterday was the first day when I hear the horn.
Oh yes, that's as well. Like I heard
But in
it
Georgia,
3
it's
times,
natural
I
that
guess.
everyone we horn like
It's like communication language.
very
want to speak from the
politely communicate.
And motorcycles also. I think I heard like loud motorcycles only few times here. In my city, I have to go around with my hands on my ears because there is. I just walk and I hear all the time, and that's so annoying, and I suffer of headaches. So here is very good. I think mostly my cultural shocks are positives, because I never really lived the Italian culture so much. Like I lived in Italy, but I was Italian just because I am Italian by citizenship. And so I don't like espresso, I don't like pizza, I don't like pasta. And I came here and I
You don't
found
deserve
soups.
the ID.
I
I will
I
contact the embassy.
by the time I arrived here, I was basically feeding myself with soups. And so I arrived here and it was like kind of my paradise. And I don't like espresso very much. I prefer longer coffee so I can take longer to drink it. And I arrived here and I found basically only long coffee, instant coffee. And the only problem with coffee is that way too expensive, so no coffee, I guess.
Yeah, so it's positive that some of you have the positive cultural shocks, some of you really don't have any cultural shock. And at the last, I want to hear all from you, like one advice for the future volunteers. Andrea, please.
Yeah. Well, my advice is to not think too much, not to worry too much, because during your year you will for sure have issues, you will for sure have challenges, which will seem so big at the time, but then later you will realize that everything you had, even like fightings with your friends or any challenge in your workplace, everything was there for a reason, and everything will help you to grow, will help you to become a better person. So don't worry that much and just enjoy your year, do everything you want so that you will not have regrets later.
Okay, thank you. Pani?
I can relate what Andrea said, I agree. But I want to mention one thing. I think the biggest challenge as a volunteer that we have already did it, and you will face it as well soon, the end of the project.
Yeah,
Like,
I already
for me-
realized that it's only like a 4
I'm so
months.
scared. It's already
Like
like
it's
going
already
to
more
the
than a
end.
half project, and I think that I was
Yeah.
here like yesterday. My play like I stopped
Yeah.
here yesterday.
I
So.
deleted from my memory like I think 2 months. Like for me, it's still going to be December, and it's almost February now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, with
When?
only the 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, like time flies so fast. And around Easter time, around April, I started to realize during my EVS that it will finish soon. And that was the first time when I really started to think what to do next. And for me, that was the hardest point in the whole project. On the last 3 or 4 months, I was really, really frustrated and I couldn't enjoy anymore the project as much. Even my flatmate told me that, Anna, please don't do this. You are still here. You should still enjoy the project. Don't think that much. And I think it was a really good advice from her. However, we all should be prepared that this project ends, and it's really emotional for everyone. So my advice is that be prepared for that, but don't overthink. Definitely it's not an easy moment for anyone to leave this project. In general, I think there is no person who doesn't cry actually. And to figure out what to do next with your whole life, it's again a difficult question. And saying goodbye, and you know that you will never be all together anymore, because it's impossible that, I don't know, 20 something people will gather again, and it's just a really nice period will end. It's really, really hard, but be prepared, talk about your feelings with each other, because you all share the same experience. You all have to face the same problem at some point. So it's a good feeling that you are in a community and you are not alone with these problems and with these feelings. And these are really, really hard things. And actually, in my project, there were more people who left the project even earlier. So for them, it was even a shorter experience because a few people realized that it wasn't for them. So for me, I had to say goodbyes already 3 months after the project for one of my friends, and it was also hard for me. So like we started to realize quite early that we will not see each other at some point anymore, but at the end it was still really hard. A lot of goodbyes and to figure out what to do next. It was, for me, it was terribly difficult. But don't overthink and and speak about it with other people because it can help you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm
Diana, you?
having the same kind of crisis she said right now, and my friends are just saying to me, "You live too much in the future. Just think that you're still there. You're still doing it what you're doing." But thinking that then I will have to go back and my eating habits change. It was the first time living apart from my father, so that's it's not the same for most volunteers because some of them are over 20, maybe they already worked. But for me, it was the first time getting finally independent, and that's also the main reason I decided to do that. So I will have to go back to come back to eating what other people wanted, to live like other people wanted until I found a job. The idea that I will have to find a job that pays good enough to be able to survive alone and everything. This is very scary because I found kind of a stability here. And I think that's the thing that scares me more about the future. But I think I have an advice about starting this for the volunteers because they didn't live that goodbye moment yet. So I would say, again, that's once in a life experience. So just don't rush. Don't do that just because you want to travel for free, because you want to go in another country and stay there 1 year. Think about it. Think about what project. Think about what you want to do, where you want to go. Don't just take the first project that comes to you. Think really much about it. Think about if you're ready or not, and maybe it would be better to do a short-term activity before, like 1 month, 2 months, so you know really what you want to do. Because if you're not ready now, maybe you will be ready in 2 years, 3 years, and you will still have the possibility to do that. And if you're not ready now, but you live for it, and then you have to come back after 3 months, you don't have a second possibility. So just really be sure that you are ready for that project.
For future volunteers, don't be afraid of any kind of problem, because they're also in volunteering, also in some kind of job in the world. There is gonna be the good side and bad side. Good side is the facts, bad side sometimes is expectations, so cut the problems, get it in the good side, just be brave and everything will be good. Communicate with people, and there will be so many people who want to be your friend, and they will be friends, like, I think, for forever. So yeah,
yes,
thank you for
I add something. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
don't be
Yeah,
afraid
it's
to ask for help
important.
here. You're here in a different city, and it's a good thing that if you want help, just ask for the help. So thank you for coming. Thank you to give your time. For our listeners, thank you, Diana, for the
Thank you for giving us voice.
okay. And so with the time with you were Andrea, Panni, Diana, and Luka. So see you in the next episode. And always check our next episodes.
Goodbye.
Do widzenia.